Good morning, Coastbuster fans. We are out here in the Rocky Point Woods on Long Island on basically it's the second day of the season, but for New York State it's opening day because yesterday was January 1st, New Year's Day, and if you had private land you could have hunted yesterday, but not today. But not with the state. So we're out here opening morning. It's 9:31. And I just got me a nice big doe. Let's see if we can get there. There it is. Dropped it right where it stood. Could have shot that with a bow and arrow. Alright, we'll be gutting it a little bit. We're going to wait and see if something else pops out. We'll be back. Okay, we're going to be gutting a deer here. Got everything we need. Let's bring the gun out here in case someone comes walking up. Okay, we'll take the butt plug, stick it in the butt. The old knife.
You can cut around the plug and then pull the chute out about 6-8 inches and throw a tie wrap there. And that way when you gut it, you can pull the whole the guts out and the exhaust chute will come out with the guts. Or, as I did on this one, I pulled out a little bit and the whole thing just came out in one piece. You twist the plug so it grabs on and you can pull, as you'll see in a minute. Here it comes. And all the deer pellets are inside of that chute. Oh, nice job. Just want to score the skin without puncturing the guts. So just get through the first layer of the epidermis there and slice down, pulling up on the skin at the same time so you're not touching any of the organs, which usually the shit sac is right there and you'll get green crap all over inside the deer, which makes a mess. put on a pair of elbow-length gloves, plastic gloves. This deer happened to be had blood all in the inside after I shot it. I guess I hit something. And very cheap gloves, even reusable. You can clean them up afterwards if you want. But keeps you from getting, especially if you have no water source like a stream, which Long Island doesn't have. In this area I was hunting, and there are membranes attached to the ribs that hold the guts in, so you have to just slice the membranes so that they all drop down and come out through the slice that you made. Just before I made this video, about 10 minutes after I had shot this doe, about 6 does came out about 40 yards in front of me. They came to the edge of the wood line, what I thought was one doe, and stopped. And I guess they didn't like what they saw with my blind, and all of a sudden I saw tails jumping, and I counted about 6 tails running away at a furious pace. So I sat there another 10 minutes, and sure enough, I see another deer walking out of the same exact spot. I look closer, it's about 40 yards, and he came out a little bit into the open and stood behind a tree. So all I could see basically was a tail and a rack. It looked about 6 to 7 points. But he stood there a good 5 minutes, and I was inside the blind, and he wouldn't give me the hot shot. He just wouldn't take that one extra step forward. My arms were getting tired from holding the gun up so long. Finally, he just figured there's something wrong at this area, and he jumped and phew, gone. So I waited about another 10 minutes, and then I called my buddy Mike, who's about 100 yards away from me, on the radio to tell him what had just happened. I looked to my left, and here's 6 more does walking up to me. They got about 50 yards. I saw them coming, and all of a sudden they just turned tail, and they were gone too. That's when I came out. I grabbed this doe and I started doing the field dressing. After you've gotten the guts out and you reached up and cut the throat and pulled out the heart and the lungs, you turn the deer so its stomach slit opening face down, and all the blood that's in the cavity will drain out. A lot of times they don't bleed at all if they're not shot in a major organ that bleeds. So you may not even have to dump the blood out, but this one had a lot of blood inside the cavity, so I had to turn it upside down and drain it out. So now I'm going to set up my drag rope. I always grab the front legs, pull them up around the head, and lash all of it together, so when I'm dragging him, his legs aren't catching branches and trees, and makes him slide through the woods a lot easier, especially when there's no snow on the ground. The truck is about 200 yards from where I am, so it's a little bit of a drag. And now it's ready to be dragged when I'm ready to leave. I'm gonna go back and sit in the blind for a couple more hours. And hopefully pick up a nice buck. Never know. It's in these woods. It's opening day. These deer haven't been spooked yet. Tons of hunters running through the woods. Every time they look, they're scared out of their sneakers. Alright, we'll be back.
Alright, we spent a day hunting.
Yeah,
It's raining like hell now. We got out of there a little early. We got one doe. Must have seen 13 of the damn things on my side, and he was about 200 yards away. You saw the same.
I saw quite a few deer.
Yeah.
I seen a lot running in herds, you know, in groups. But I took 2 shots and missed. They were on the run, so figures.
They're always on the run around here.
Yeah, you know. It was a
I
good
missed
day,
that nice buck. It was standing behind a tree. It wouldn't give me a body shot.
though. Yeah.
We're going to have the DEC check ours out right now. There's a small buck right there.
Here's a few nice
And we'll
bucks
see you at
that
the
we've
rest of
taken
the end
out
of the hunting season with the rest of the news.
in the ensuing days of the hunt. It's a month long. I hunted 3 weeks of the 4 weeks. Then I got out of town, man. I got out of Dodge. I went to Florida, but we had a great time. And just remember, as you go through life, who ain't afraid of no coast? We'll stop on any beach and drink your beer.